Alright guys, so this is going to be not an installation video of 5150's products, but more of a guidance of what you guys could do and things that I did that helped me out and probably could help you guys out as well. I did buy the 187 whips from 5150. I also bought their brows and rock lights. Here's one of them. Got one on the other side, and now I'm using one as my dome light as well. So let's get into this of how to do all the connections for the 187 whips, your brows, and your rock lights. And the cool thing about 5150 is that you could sync everything together, such as your rock lights, whip lights, and brows. They could all do the same color changes, the features, the strobing. It does everything. It's really awesome all together. But you do have to connect all those wires that they have into one harness. This is one of the harnesses I have. So to be able to run everything in sync, you have to connect everything all into one harness. That's really awesome. I don't think there's another product out there that offers that type of syncing, but I did run into a problem when I connected everything together. I really did not want to run my brows, my whips at the same time. Sometimes I would want to just run my brows, that way, you know, it looks awesome, and also my whips. But then I said, you know what, might as well have a different switch as well for my rock lights. So I do have 3 different switches for 5150 products. Driving lights is basically my brows, and here's the whips and my rock lights. So to be able to run all these 3 differently, you do have to have 3 different harnesses. Here's one. I have another one tucked under here, and another one right over here. So this one controls my brows, this one controls my rock lights, and then the one back here controls my whips. So let's get into this of how to connect all these connections into their harness. So right here in this harness, as you can see, it has a little control module, which basically controls obviously your whips, your rock lights, brows, or whatever you guys want to run. You could do it through your phone, which is actually really cool. And then if you magnify it, as they did right here, these are all the little connections that are right there. As you guys can see, red is power, black is ground, white is brake lights, green is left turn, and yellow is right turn. But I'm not going to be running all those. I'm only simply going to be running my red wire, which is power, and my black wire for ground. And all that connects into their rocker switch. I ordered this from 5150, obviously, and it is a 5-pin rocker switch. And as long as you guys follow their instructions that they include, you guys should be okay. I did run into a couple issues. So here's the diagram of how to connect a 5-pin switch. Or you could simply go down this route and go from the battery to the fuse, switch, and whip plug, or this route. So that all depends on you. I really wanted to be able to control it on and off with my rocker switch, and this rocker switch for some reason came out defective. Once I did all my connections properly, as you can see right there, for some reason it started catching smoke, and could have been a fire, so I disconnected everything. And that was probably running after 2-3 minutes running the lights. That's when I noticed it was smoking. So that's why you always dry fit everything first, and if not, this would have been a huge issue for me. But I did contact 5150 about this. They sent me a replacement rocker switch, obviously for free. They have an awesome warranty program. If you break your lights, your whip lights, you roll over, your dog chews on it, you accidentally drive it into your garage with the whips on, they replace it all for free. Just send them back and they'll send it to you. So it's really awesome. That's one of the reasons why I decided to go with 5150. Obviously made here in the United States, which is awesome. So obviously, since it's made here in the US, they are a little bit more expensive, but you get what you pay for. So here's my wiring I had to do. I went about suggesting what they did. This is my connection towards my battery. I connected this inline fuse holder, which I just purchased at AutoZone or O'Reilly's, one of the two. They were a couple bucks, so it's not bad. It's a 10-volt fuse holder. And then over here, I ran my red wire again, my power wire, which would go straight into my rocker switch. It would go right into this middle one right here. So that's where it goes to. And I really did not like that, simply because if my fuse ever blows or anything, I would have to take off all my paneling. As you know, with the Can Am X3s or any Can Am, you have to literally remove your seat, the panels, and then you could fix the issue. And I really did not like that, because if I'm stuck out in the river, the desert, up in the mountains or anything, I really don't want to go about taking my seat out and doing all that type of work. So I decided to jump on YouTube and get a couple ideas from different YouTubers and also different forums. And one of the things I really liked was a fuse block holder. Now I have all my wiring. I drilled a 3/4 inch hole right here in the back. I ran all my positives, negatives, all into there. That way, if something does happen, it happens all in the outside of the Can Am, or on the center console basically. So now I don't have to remove any panels, seats, or whatnot. So I really liked the idea, so I took it, and I'm really thankful for it. This fuse box holder, I actually got it from Amazon. I just typed in fuse box holder and went to the number one item that everybody purchases. And as I went to go read the reviews on the product, I started seeing the videos, and this brand, Gregory, was actually trolling that brand. They for some reason they ended up uploading a video comparing their brand to that brand that I had searched. And that other brand, I don't remember the name of it, but they were comparing both of them. And for some reason, that first brand, all these positive and negative terminals right here, that's your positive and obviously your negative, all the studs coming out were super flimsy, very loose. No matter how tight you tighten them, they were always going to be loose. And Gregory, the brand, was obviously comparing that, saying, you know, this is a lot more sturdier, a lot more stable, a lot better. And honestly, it really is. So far, I'm happy with it. It is splash proof. It's not waterproof, simply because obviously you have exposed wires coming out, and my type of lifestyle is not going into rivers or sinking this thing into any type of water, simply because, you know, these things are about $30,000, and I really want this thing to last me as much as possible. I do drive it how it should be. As you can tell, I got a bunch of sand from going out to the dry riverbanks and all. So I really like that. Splash proof, not waterproof, so that's not an issue. All right, so let me show you how I ran all my connections on my wiring from my brows and my rock lights. I got one rock light right under here. These are the brows that 5150 makes. High LED output, really nice. I have another rock light right underneath there, if you guys could see it. There it is. That way I could be able to see the radiator, winch, whatnot. And I also have another rock light right under there. So here's the wiring, and as you can tell, if you guys follow it, it goes straight down the middle. There's a rubber boot in there, and let me see. And what I ended up doing is just running all my wiring for my brows. Here's my brow coming down, ran up, went through there, and goes into that boot and in through the firewall. I still need to zip tie all these, so please don't bash me for that. I still need to get to it. So once I ran it through there, I did put a protective wire on it, so it's one of these ones that I put. Also, again, I got that from AutoZone or O'Reilly's, anywhere you guys could get it at. So once I run it all through there, it will come out straight through here. So this is it. So if I stick this in there, that goes from the outside and straight to the inside. So I have all those wires from my rock lights. So I have 3 rock lights and 1 brow running right through this whole basically I skipped the name of it, but yes, it's coming out through here. So that runs through here, through there, through here, and eventually ends up right there in that little bundle. But that's how I ran all my wiring. So I have one of my harnesses right here, and in this harness, again, this only controls my brows. So I do have an extra connection to be able to connect their Oracle lights that they offer. I just didn't order those simply because I kind of really didn't like the way they looked a little, not tacky, but I don't know, I just really didn't like it. So I'd rather have just the brow running. Really awesome, really cool. So if they ever make a different type of Oracle lights that catches more of my attention, I'll probably buy it, and I could simply just connect it into there and I should be good to go. Once I dry fitted everything, they made all my connections, I was running my 5150 rocker switch on, and also my brow switch on. And then I noticed that my headlights actually ended up dimming a little bit more. I do also have on my Can Am Sector 7 side mirrors. Really awesome product, really loved it. And also I have KC Pro Line 6 light bar running right on top. So I do have a lot of power coming out of this machine, and I did notice that my lights were starting to dim a little bit. So I figured I could run a dual battery system or just upgrade to a bigger battery. And this is it right here. So this is the factory battery that comes with the Can Am X3. I purchased this battery at O'Reilly's. It was roughly about $106. After going online and just seeing how I could run dual batteries, a lot of people run parallel with the batteries. So they'll just connect, obviously, the positive with positive, negative with negative, and then to run all your switches, you have to connect 1 negative over here and 1 positive. I really didn't want to do that simply because I just want my machine to be able to run off 1 battery, all my other accessories running off a different battery. So if I'm out in the desert and my lights take a dump for whatever reason, it's just gonna affect this battery, which is my accessory battery. My actual battery for the Can Am is still gonna be great. It's still gonna be running hot, running 100%. And on my cousin's Can Am, I noticed that he ended up installing a trickle charger on it, and I really like that idea, so I ended up stealing it from him. So I have a trickle charger just connected straight to my main battery for my machine. So if it ever discharges for whatever reason, I could always charge it straight through here. So my machine should be good. And again, if whatever reason, if I'm out in the desert, out in the river or mountains, and my lights take a crap on me, all I want to be able to do is be able to go home and be able to charge everything again. So that's why I'm running just 1 separate battery for all my accessories. Again, for these batteries, they really don't move in here, as I noticed. So if I actually put some pressure on it, they'll wiggle around just a bit. And I know a lot of people are going to tell me, oh, how did you hold it down? How did you bolt it down? But I figured once the seat is installed, the seat scoots back all the way back, and this kind of stays in place, and I shouldn't have a problem. But I'll keep you guys updated on that if I experience any problems or shortages. Also with the battery, I did make them face positive and positive, because if I flip this battery around, Now it'd be negative and positive, and they'd be almost touching here. So I really didn't want that, just in case something short circuits. So I just flipped it the other way how it currently is. That way all my terminals are facing out and this terminal is facing this way. I wanted this one to actually face on this side, but with all the factory connections, it wouldn't reach as far, so I just left it there. And also a cool thing about this is if my main battery does ever take a dump on me out in the mountains or anything, I could simply just jump it with this battery to here and I should be able to go home safely. So after I installed my fuse box holder, I did notice that my rocker switches were constantly on, and just the light that it provides here, and yeah, it's not a lot of power coming out or they're draining it, but eventually it will be draining the battery. So what I ended up doing is buying a battery switch disconnect. So the way I was able to run this is I have my battery here, and in the factory hole that it has, I have my negative wire coming out straight through there. And I'll show you guys in a bit how it runs through the back. And then with my black battery, I ended up using a 4-gauge wire, just so you guys know, 4-gauge wire for my positive and my negative. So I have 4-gauge wire coming out through here. I coiled it up a little bit here, and then it shoots right up there, connects there. And for my positive wire, let me show you guys. I have it running right through here. So there's that opening. Ran it up through there. I zip tied it here on this spot, and then from there I drilled a hole in the inside, and this is really not going anywhere. And I also put another protection on the wire, that way it doesn't, with the heat of the engine coming out, it doesn't affect it. So far it looks great. It should do its job. And I ended up drilling a hole from the inside out right through there, and that's coming out right through here. So again, I drilled about a 3/4 inch hole on it, and from there I just ran it up, connecting my battery switch disconnect right here. And under the battery switch disconnect, there's just two studs that you could grab onto. One is for your main battery coming out, and then here's that output. Oops, there you go. The output wire coming in straight to the fuse box holder. And obviously right now it's in the on position. Here's the off position, and I don't know if you guys can tell, but now my switch is turned off. Turn it on, there's a blue light coming on, so now they are active. So if I press the rocker switch on, my lights turn on. Or I turn it off, turn my switch off, and even if I click that on, obviously my whips don't work. So I thought it was a pretty good idea to run a battery switch disconnect, simply because if I'm storing to Can Am, I don't want all the switches to eventually drain out my battery. That way I can prolong the life of my battery. They say it's about 3 years that it should be able to last, so we'll see how long it lasts. It's just a battery from O'Reilly's. So you guys should just go over there and ask for that, or for that battery. Here is the part number, just so you guys know, and you guys could ask them if you guys want to do the same setup as I did. So that's how it looks. Really cool. A little bulkier than what I wanted, but it works. And also now I don't have to disconnect, disassemble the whole side of it, take out the seat, and for whatever reason one of my wires is not working, here's my fuses, and that's all I have to check. So that's how I ended up doing all the connections for all my switches, all my rock lights, whip lights, brows. Everything is from 5150. I'm not sponsored by them. So far I like the product. It's very durable. I did buy some other whips from a local off-road shop, which are these ones right here. The brand is Fire Stick, and I really didn't like them. The connections for these are very flimsy, as you can see. I didn't like the light, the output and all, and unfortunately the guy does not accept returns no matter what, so I'll be selling these. So if you guys want them, just hit me up. And I think they cost me like about $120 each, and obviously I'll let them go for cheaper because I just want to get rid of them. So that's pretty much it. If you guys like what I did, you guys are more than welcome to let me know in the comments if you guys need any help with certain things. I will be doing a review on the rock lights, brows, and whips pretty soon, so stay tuned for that. Other than that, you guys stay safe, off-road safely, and if you guys have any other cool ideas or want me to do any other reviews, let me know, and catch you guys later.